you bring up a good point, much spend by these companies, and I actually want to go back and bring it to, you had brought up, OTAs are such a ubiquitous part of the industry today when you talk about Expedia, Priceline, and kind of, but talking about marketing spend, I mean, Expedia spends, I think, around $4 billion per year just on marketing. But you made a good point about how consumers today, when they shop, they want to kind of compare and contrast different hotels across brands. But I think one of the issues is that the hotel industry does a very good job of doing that. So you can't go on Hilton.com and see Marriott products because they're not there, obviously, because they're a competitor. But you go to Expedia, you go to one of the meta search, you can see across the board. So I mean, but just getting back to OTAs, I mean, the whole industry for years has been like, the stay away from them. They charge, their commission structures are too high. I'd love to hear what from like the top down, like what from your companies, what's the kind of the talk of around the water cooler about OTAs?
They're a necessary evil, but you'll see us trying to get rid of rooms last minute.
Yeah.
Going against, rate parity and stuff just to get heads and beds kind of thing at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a necessary evil really at this time. The brands as a whole, I know they came out with, book direct, do this, but they're not blatantly saying like, you are not going to get a cheaper room.
Thank you. Why don't they do that?
Expedia.
Every commercial I see, it's never like pointing out
it's like you'll get this,
and you won't get your loyalty
that.
points, you won't get your whatever it may be.
I think those are the things, like you're gonna have a hard time canceling your room, like
They do a horrible job of
I guess essentially the whole thing, because I mean travelers were raised with these OTAs that were cheaper.
Yeah.
And now they still think that they are, and the brands are not flat out saying like, no, you're absolutely not getting a cheaper room there. So I think that's one of the challenges too, but and I don't know, actually, I didn't follow up on Hyatt was getting rid of Expedia.
No, I think they came to
an agreement. Okay, so but I mean, Hyatt was such a small market for Expedia that I didn't think it was going to.
They wouldn't even care. Expedia would drop in the hat for them, which is scary because Hyatt's
sure. They would have needed it definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, Marriott and Hilton, I almost wonder if there was one company that came up out of the blue just for independent hotels and made their own online travel agency just for independents, could brands pull away from Expedia and Orbitz and all of those things and then have their own with a site for independents? I feel like that might be the only way that those are going to go away. There's a
business model for you right there.
No thanks. Someone else can do it and I'll just be angry
yeah.
years down the line. But I don't see any of them, no matter how much power they have, Marriott and Hilton are the two with the most. I don't see them.
Well, the Marriott-Starwood merger was seen as kind of a hedge against OTAs. I mean, when you have that kind of scale, but I think, but even though they control so many rooms now, they're still not like, we don't need you anymore. They still use Expedia. It's just that they get their rates comparable to another company or that much lower commission rates. So, but I think that was a big part of it.
But I think as an industry, that's one of the complaints, at least that we hear, that we don't pivot as quickly as we would like to.
Yeah.
Right. There's this sense of complacency that's there, and because there's so much scale, you can get consistency across the board with the leadership on the policy side, right? So if Marriott is going to do one thing, are they really communicating with some of the other competitors with an issue that's common to all of us, right? And it doesn't happen enough. And everybody uses that example now, right? And when OTA started, the industry came out and said, the brands came out and said, oh, it's not a concern. Right. But now all of a sudden it's a concern 15 years down the line.
Sure.
Right? Are we making the same mistake with the shared economy and the Airbnb? We probably are. So that's a fight every day, I think, to allocate enough marketing dollars to get the differentiating factors out there to the customer.
Yeah.
And also the leadership coming out there and being more blunt with what's really going on. And you don't see that enough.
No, but I think you're totally right with the whole, I don't think they approach it the right way. They you see the choice ads where it's bada book, bada bing, whatever that guy says, if you've seen that commercial. But Yeah, they don't call out Expedia, or you never. It's not like
Right.
not like McDonald's calling out, or Wendy's calling out the Big Mac or something like that. What
Right.
you've seen before. I mean, it's a different mentality, and I don't think they've really done a good job at it. So.
I know that whenever people ask me, well, you're in hotels, what's your best travel tip? Like, what's your best recommendation? That's the first thing I say. Don't ever book
Yeah.
at an OTA. Don't ever book anywhere but brand.com. And they're shocked. They have no idea. They're like, oh, it's always lower. I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's really not. I promise.
And going toward what you were saying before is like, you're a member of all the loyalty programs. All you have to do is take 20 seconds to fill out a form online, and you're going to get you'll probably get a rate that's $10 cheaper than if you just booked without being a loyalty member.
You're always
And
going
that's
to
gonna
get
be
a better
member rate.
view.
Yeah.
The hotels look after their brand.com customers. It's in hotels' best interest to look after their brand.com customers
Right.
a little better. And I think you mentioned it too. It causes all kinds of problems
Yeah.
with reservations and booking and billing, and
Right.
it's a disaster. So
We need a comprehensive marketing strategy to tackle that, so.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep, we have to keep lobbying for that.
Well, the AHLA,
Yeah,
I know they.
And all the brands.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a comprehensive strategy.
Well, they had Room Key, but that was an abject failure,
Terrible.
if you remember.
It's still there, it's still like a pop under. So
Yeah,
after
it's
you,
so
after you
annoying.
close
Yeah,
the
yeah,
room,
right, right.
Then you close out, and then
It's
there
there.
it is, like, stay here. Which is, I don't even know why that's still.
Yeah,
active,
Room Key
but-
never really did what it was supposed to do, I think, when they launched it. So who knows what the next kind of, But it's interesting, we talk about Airbnb. Are there any, what do you think that will be the next disruptor? You ever thought about that? I mean, there was the OTAs and there's home sharing. Anything else on the horizon guys can think of that'll be the next kind of disruptive force in the industry?
I don't know if it'd be like necessarily like a big disruptor, but I think it was Ritz-Carlton that just came out with the luxury cruise line. I don't know if more brands are gonna hop on that, maybe not as big, but
Yeah.
try and now tackle like cruise lines, which has been a market that, there's probably 2 that I can name of, that's it. So now I think everyone's gonna be kind of looking at that, like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then I guarantee in the next couple of years, another brand is gonna be there doing the same thing, so I think that might be on the horizon.
Does the Four Seasons have a jet or a?
Yeah, we do have the Four Seasons jet, so
There you
it's
go.
an all-inclusive trip across the multiple Four Seasons. So I have
don't
not
think I
been
can
yet.
afford that.
Yeah, they don't have a friends and family rate for that, so
Okay.
I'm not.
You guys don't even have a loyalty program, like a points-based loyalty program. It's more
we
recognition.
don't. Yep. So you were talking about loyalty program, and we feel that loyalty is based on recognition. So no matter how old you are, everyone likes to feel recognized. So if you come to a place and they say, "Oh, I remember you last time," that's a good feeling, and I think that's addictive no matter what.